You're called live.
Okay, so yeah.
Yes, hello. Good evening,
Yes, sir.
everyone. And yes, Doc, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Yes, and then I assume everyone also on the call can hear me. Thank you very much, and a very good evening to everyone who has had time to join us this evening for this session. And I want to welcome all new members to the IFA and the IPA, and also to the local Ghana chapter. Thank you for choosing us. And existing members, thank you for always being loyal and staying with us. Um, this year, the IPA group is actually celebrating the 10 years anniversary and 100 years, sorry. And each one is welcome to share the success with us and also share on our social media platforms. Yes. My name is Christian Nyanohine. I'm the regional director, the representative for the institute in Ghana. And I have with me here today Dr. Yao Ejeredu to facilitate today's session. In the course of time, I will introduce him and also listen to what he has for us. We have some upcoming CPD programs after this one. On 7th September, we'll be looking at forecasting, what we need to know when we talk about forecasting as accountants. On 28th September, we'll be looking at improving our data security. 26th September, we will also be looking at how can accounts payable automation help SMEs survive. 29th, we'll be looking at the cost and pricing. And then the IFA International Conference is coming on 9th September 2023. And we have very important, interesting, and relevant topics that will be shared in due course. We have excellent speaker lineup, and then that one brings a 6 CPD hours. And if you attend, we are looking at holding that conference online, and as time goes on, we will share more details with you on that. You can connect with us on, you can send me an email directly, IFA Ghana, to christiano@ifa.org.uk. You can also contact Jonathan, or you can visit our website to get more information on that. That is that, and we go straight to our discussion for today. Today, we want to look at a very relevant topic that has always been baffling our minds. Most of us are in leadership positions, having our own businesses, our practices, and most of us have colleagues we usually work with. And one key area when it comes to business setups and business orientation is on the finance. And mostly we always want to look at team building, teamwork. When we take about 100 CVs, you identify a lot of people claiming to have the team working spirit and that. And it comes to teams because mostly when you go into every corporate environment, we have individual teams, accounts teams, finance teams, we have the board, we have other teams that are performing different roles in the organization. So today we decided to take a key and look at how we can enhance or how we can build a finance team, but not just any finance team, but a finance team that is very effective to the growth of the business. We are looking at not just building the finance team, but building a team that will assist our companies, relationships, and whichever working environment we find ourselves to be stronger and better. And I'm very happy to invite our very own Dr. Yaweje Redu. In fact, Doc is one of our staunch members, and he has been working in the public sector for quite a very long time. I think a lot of his career has been onto the public service. And at the moment, Doc is the finance officer for the is it Wager Municipal?
Gasalt Municipal
Um,
Assembly. Gasalt Municipal Assembly.
yes, Gassat Municipal Assembly. So, thank you very much, Doc, for accepting our invite this evening. And we are very, very happy to have you take us through
Thank you.
this very interesting topic. In fact, I'm hoping that by the time we leave here, most of us will go back to the drawing board to see how we can re-establish our various teams, our various finance teams, and some of us too would be able to enhance the capabilities of the existing teams we have. And those of us who are now about to create that team would take more insights from today's presentation and set the right foundation. Let me inform all members that in case there are any questions you want to ask, kindly locate the Q&A section below your screen, type your questions in, and then we'll read them to Doc. If you have comments too, you can do same. If you have suggestions, you can do same, and then Doc would. I'll read it, and Doc will also answer. I will be happy to have all of you stay throughout this session, and then kindly pardon us in case we have any technical glitches. That is quite beyond our might. We will try as much as possible to keep this within the 60 minutes. And welcome once again. Thank you, Doc. Welcome to the IFA Ghana chapter. And we are happy to hear from you, Doc.
Thank you so much, Chris, my director. Chris, can you help me with my slides? Chris,
Doc.
are you there? Yes, sir.
Yes, can you share your screen? I've
Okay,
stopped
sir.
sharing my screen, so you
Okay,
can just
so
go ahead and share your screen.
okay, so good. Chris, can you see from here? Hello?
Yes, I can't see. Maybe.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Think something went wrong.
Are you having any challenges, Doc?
Yes, I am, but I believe it can be easily solved. I'm getting
Okay.
feedback from my end here.
Yes, maybe you have logged in with two devices. Can you close the one on your phone, please?
Now, I've not actually, I've not opened the one on my phone.
But because I can see you having two screens here. Okay. Let me yes, let me locate your slide and share it.
Please do for me.
Just a moment, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Doc. I think you may have to quickly drop it in my mail. I would look at it because.
Come again.
Can you drop it in my mail, please?
Okay.
Just a quick one, so that.
Right.
Yes, colleagues. I think we have already indicated that there may be some technical glitch, and I think we started experiencing it very early. I would pardon all of you. I would request that you pardon us. We're trying to fix it as soon as possible, and then we will start with the presentation. Thank you.
Hello, Chris.
Yes, Doc. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen, Doc?
Um, just a minute.
Can you see, please?
No, not yet. I'm just trying to. I can hear you, but I cannot see the screen from here. I can hear you, but I'm
The
having
screen is
challenge.
shared, so can you see it
Okay,
now?
sir. I'm trying to.
Yes, Doc. I have shared my screen, so I don't know. Can you see it?
I'm just trying to can get it from here.
Because I have received comments from people who say they can see.
Okay. I'll,
So can you see, please? Okay, so let's start with the discussion, and then I'm sharing, so I hope you can see. Yes, Doc, I think that there's a technical issue from your end because
I'm
everyone
challenges
can see the screen.
set my end here. And I can hear you too. I don't know why it's rather a problem. And
Okay, can you log out and rejoin?
okay, let me do that.
Yes, please. Because I can see, yes, can you log out and rejoin? Yes, I think Doc is still having a little challenge. Let's all be more patient with Doc. But whilst we are waiting for Doc, let me remind all members that you are supposed to have a minimum of 40 CPD hours in a year as a professional accountant to continue to remain in good standing. So members who have not yet acquired the 40 CPDs are encouraged to do so. The year is gradually coming to an end, and we advise all of you to make sure that you maintain that standard. Doc, you are muted. You are muted.
Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
see the screen now?
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay, that's fine. So
And do you have my
back
screen?
back to Bata.
Okay, sir. Hello.
Yes, Doc, the curtains have opened. So let's start. Doc, are you still not seeing the screen?
I have seen the screen, but I cannot. It looks as if the sharing is becoming a problem for me. Let's see.
No, I am sharing now. So you, when you want to move to the next slide, just tell me, I'll move for you.
Okay,
Don't
okay, okay,
share.
okay, okay. Then thanks so much. Then I'm with you. As
Yes.
Chris said earlier, we are today looking at building an effective finance team, or what people sometimes call accounting team or accounts team. We just want to look at the importance of building an effective finance team. But we are looking at the importance of the finance team. Let me quickly take you through the objective of this study. The objective of this study, one, is to look at the meaning of finance team, because most of us talk about finance team, but we don't know what exactly the finance team is all about. Then secondly, we also look at other areas that the finance team is supposed to do. We'll be looking at the characteristics of the finance team. We'll be looking at the benefits of the finance team. We'll be looking at how we'll be able to build the finance team, that is hiring for the finance team, because if you are talking about finance team, then you must also be looking at who can be put into the finance team, because we are talking of an effective finance team. So not just an ordinary team, but an effective team. Move on to the next slide, please. Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Doc.
Yeah, so
Your
let's move
curtains
on.
take a little bit of time to open. So
Then it means that
it's
you are
okay,
using.
it's okay.
So let's move
It's
on.
okay.
Then it
Shall
means
we
that we are the old
should I move
slides.
to the next slide?
Yes, sir. 3.
Okay, that's fine. Should I move again?
Please, yeah, unfortunately, I'm not getting yours from here.
Which one, please?
I still have the second slide with me here. I'm still not.
You are not seeing where we have moved to.
No, I cannot see that.
So read what you see on your screen for me now, please.
I have just the objective of the presentation. I have the objective of the presentation. Okay, now it's even
What can you see now?
It's moved to the to almost the end. Oh.
Say again.
I don't know whether the problem is from my end here, because what I'm seeing is not.
What can you read what you see on your screen, please?
You are now. I'm now seeing slide 44, which is nowhere near where we are supposed to arrange. That's slide 44. Mm-hmm.
What can you see now?
So now slide 2. Let's move to 3.
Okay, let's continue.
Thank you. Thank you. So as we continue, the business world believes that for every organization to be successful, you can trace the success of every organization to the functional and effective finance team or the accounting unit or department. So you notice that whether the organization is a big organization or a little organization or a small or medium organization, you cannot do away with the finance team. If you want to succeed, then the finance team is where every organization pays much attention, so that at the end of the day, they'll be able to talk of the organization making improvement or the organization staying at the top. Let's move on. So the main objective of this study is actually to lead all participants to go through how we'll be able to build an effective and strong finance team. So move on, sir. Yes. It is also to help participants to appreciate the importance of building a finance team and the benefits that the finance team, if it's very effective, the benefits that the organization is also going to enjoy. So you will notice that it's not just building a team, but a team which will be beneficial to every organization. And that's why I said earlier that every organization which is poised, which is interested in making it to the top and remaining at the top and having a fair share of the market, will make sure that the finance team is well taken off or well taken care of. So next slide. So the question is, what is a finance team? We are talking of finance team. So what makes the finance team? If you want to know what makes the finance team, let's move on to the next slide. By simple definition, if you talk of what the finance team is about or what the finance team is, it simply means a department or a directorate. In the public sector, we will mainly say a directorate set up within an entity to handle financial related functions. In this case, what we are saying is that if you go to every organization, we have the various departments or the various directorates performing different functions, but the finance team is specifically set up to perform financial related functions. So the finance team can also be described as a group of people set up for the acquisition and the management of all financial resources. What we mean by acquisition, there is a saying that you cannot spend what you don't have. So how will you manage the funds if you have not brought in the funds? So one of the main duties of the finance team is to make sure that the organization gets the money, they acquire the money. It means that the organization will be able to get the inflows. That is one of the major functions of the finance team. And as they get the money, as the acquisition of the funds coming, then we'll also be looking at the management of the funds. So again, like I said, you cannot spend what you don't have. So bring it on board, bring the funds in, then you'll be able to manage it or spend it. And that is what the finance team is all about. Next. Now, we are talking about acquisition and management of funds, but we're also talking about the finance team being in charge of data collection. So for every effective organization, you notice that for any cash forecasting or cash flow forecasting or even organizing fund raising, or allocating of funds and budgeting. Everything is based on data that usually is provided by the finance team. Now, talking about budget, you go to some organizations, we have the budget unit, but mostly the smaller organizations, all what they have is the finance unit or the finance team. But if you have a budget unit, even the budget unit always rely on data that has been put together by the finance team, which they use for their budgeting. So next. So let us now look at some of the characteristics of an effective finance team. What do we see and what will identify a team or a finance team as very effective? So let's look at some of the characteristics, things that identify a team to be called that this is an effective finance team. Move on, sir. Let's say, hello.
Yes,
Good.
Doc.
Now, some of the characteristics that I was talking about is that you notice that the people or the personnel within that team are strategically focused. And most of the members, or let me say sometimes even all the members, have strong relationship with their team leader. Whatever the team leader is saying, they share the same view, they share the same objective, the same goal. And for that reason, everything that they intend doing is very, very effective. Then you have team members also having diverse background and experiences. And because of that, they can easily handle most of the issues that come their way because of their experience and their diverse background. Next, sir. Then some of the characteristics is also that the personnel within the finance team, or if an effective finance team, you notice that most of them have focused on efficiency. All what they are interested is that whatever they are doing, they are not doing it anyhow, but they are focusing on efficiency. And the holistic view of the business that they are in, they know every aspect of the business that they are doing. And for that reason, when there is any problem or when there is any challenge, the finance team is able to quickly come in and help resolve the challenges because they have very good view, they have very good knowledge of the organization that they are dealing with. It's sometimes so sad that you get some entities, you get in there and you ask questions and people within the organization, because certain aspects are not maybe related to their department, they are not able to answer. But interestingly, most of the finance team members have control over almost every part of the organization within which they are working. And that's why we say they have a holistic view of the businesses. And most of them have what we term as the emotional intelligence. They are able to read and be able to come out with solutions and say that, look, this is what is happening, and this is the way that it should be handled. Next, sir. Good. And most of them have strong communication skills. That is to say that they are strong communicators. And most of them are teamwork, they have teamwork skills. I've already said that because they normally link up with their leader, because they normally reason with their leader, because they normally have a very good relationship with the leadership, teamwork also becomes part of the finance team. Next. Then the next characteristics that I want to talk about is mostly they make sound judgment. They don't just say anything anyhow. Whatever decision that they take and whatever comes out of their mouth, they make sure that they are speaking the truth, saying something that will bring a result, saying something that will bring a good answer for a decision making. So they are people who think very well, who make sure that they get to the ground of every challenge before they are able to take decision. And once they take that decision, it helps in a good decision making for management. Yes, sir. Let us therefore look at the importance of collaboration and communication, not just within the finance team, but among the various departments of every organization. But some researchers have asserted that The collaboration among finance team and other stakeholders is a major key in achieving the organizational objective. That is to say that because I've earlier said the finance team, they have a very broad knowledge about the organization within which they operate. You notice that because of that, they have good relationship with all the stakeholders, including the other departments within the organization, and including even the people, the suppliers, and the credit, and all the people that matter, the stakeholders. Because of that, they have very good, collaboration with all these people. It helps the organization to be able to achieve its goal. Yes, sir. We are also still talking about the collaboration. And of course, once there is a good collaboration, it helps efficiency and it also increases productivity in every organization. Of course, if there is no collaboration, definitely production will be affected. Definitely efficiency will be very, very less. Definitely people will not be putting in all their maximum effort. But once there is a good collaboration and the finance team is always ready to lead for the organization to achieve its maximum profit, there is that coming from the finance team. It also helps for the organization to also stay on top. It also, interestingly, it helps in the creation of shared priorities and vision of the entity. And because there is that collaboration, every time the finance team, all what they are looking forward to do is to find out what can we do to ensure that we stay on top? What can we do to ensure that everything goes on well? So they try as much as possible to seek for information from all angles within the organizations, including even the outsiders who are also interested in the well-being or welfare of the organization. And once they are able to do this, it helps the organization to achieve its vision as they go along. Next slide. Please, let's move on. Just go back a little. Earlier, I talked about collaboration and communication, and I cannot end, I've said much about collaboration, but let us also add that communication also is very, very effective among the finance team. It's very, very effective, and because they have a very good communication, they are able to also carry every message that they need across, and they are also able to get the necessary information that they want from all the other stakeholders. And they have a good communication so that they are able to actually move to any department or any section of the organization to be able to speak out what will help the organization in its entirety to move on. For instance, at my end here, we have almost all the departments, the procurement department, we have the budget department, we have the planning department, we have the all the other departments. But because the finance team is leading, wherever there is any problem, we quickly move to the various organizations and tell them that, look, because of this, let us do this, so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to achieve our target. And that is one of the characteristics, the most effective way that the finance team members help to bring the organization and to help the organization always stay on top. That's yes, sir. Now we are talking of finance team. So we cannot move away from the finance team without looking at the skills and expertise needed to build a finance team. We are looking at what does it take, who are to be the members of the finance team. And that's what we are looking at now. Please move on. Yes. The financial well-being of every organization, as it's always been said, is mostly based on the personnel within the finance team. This is because the finance team members are mostly people with accounting background and mostly people who are professional accountants. And once you have these people with their professionalism and with their accounting background, they are able to lead the organization. After all, the aim and objective of every organization, with the exception of those who are providing services, is to make profit. So if you have accounting people with accounting background and people who are professional in accounting, you are sure that once you have such people, you'll be able to get the results that you want as an organization. Move on, sir. So some of the experience that we are looking for are the fact that such people must have leadership skills. So if you want to look at who can make a finance team, an effective finance team, then we are looking at people who have leadership skills. And we are not just looking at the leadership skills, but we are looking at people who will be able to solve problems. You know, there are some people who cannot stand pressure. When there are challenges, you see them hitting their heads, they are hiding themselves, they don't want to come out. But if we want to find an effective finance team, then we are looking at people who will be bold, always ready to face any challenge and to help solve them. And that's why we are saying the ability to solve problems. And I've already mentioned that it should be communication should be good. So members of the finance team should also be people who have very good communication skills. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please to the next one. Next slide. Yes. So previous, sir. Good. So finally, we are saying that such people should also have organizational skill. Now we talk of organizational skill, people who can put people together, who can bring people together to let the organization achieve its goal. Then in these modern times, accounting or finance is not all about what we learn in the books. Accounting is moving away from what we learn in the books. Accounting is now becoming purely technological. So we are looking at people who have technological skills, people who have modern IT skills, who will be able to combine their accounting knowledge with the IT skills and be able to move the organization forward. And that's why when you are finding the skills, or you want to look at what skills and experience do I need, what type of people do I need, you must also look at people who have that technological skills. And you must also, of course, look at people who can work independently. We are not talking of people who always want to be supervised before they are able to do what is expected of them, but people who, when even a leader is not there, they know what they are supposed to do. People who are always on top, they will solve the problem and walk to their leader and say that this is what I saw and this is what I've been able to come out. For instance, if you come to me and you bring me any challenge or any problem, I will not take it and say, I'm solving that problem for you. I'll ask you, yes, this is it. You have presented it to me. So what do you also think? And you get some people who give you a perfect solution. And as a leader, you'll be happy to have such people in your team. So we are talking about people who can think independently, who can work independently, who will not always be looking for somebody to come and supervise them. And these are the people that we want when we are building an effective finance team. Thank you. Move on, sir. Yes, so let us quickly go through. We are looking at building an effective finance team. Let's look at the right people that we have to hire. Please move on. I think we have gone beyond this. Please move on. Yes. Now, there was this business writer who said, the name is called Meredith Belvin, who said that the role to be considered when you are thinking of any success in any organization is to look at people who have very, very high standard intelligence when it comes to financial issues. So Melbourne was saying that roles that have to be considered when hiring the finance team for successful higher performance in their operations. And he mentioned some of them. I think I've even mentioned some of them earlier. So he enumerated a lot of roles that we have to look at when we are looking at picking people or hiring people to form the finance team. Chris, let's move on. Yes, please go on. So we've talked about people with purchasing expertise, analytical abilities. We've discussed all these things. So let's please go on. Then I've also mentioned people with interpersonal skills. That's people who are independent, who can perform independently without being asked as what to do or without being supervised. And I've also talked about people who have fluency in technology when I mentioned that accounting is moving away from the theoretical or the book accounting. We are all moving with the technology. So that has also been mentioned. Then let's look at creating an organizational structure. You agree with me that the organizational structure, as we are all aware, is normally part of an organization, and once it's there, it tells the organization to be able to put things in place. Any organization without any clear defined organizational structure is bound to fail. So once we are looking at the effective finance team, then we have to also look at the organizational structure, which will also help the finance team to be able to perform as expected of them. Please move on. Let's move forward, sir. So as I've mentioned earlier, the organizational structure is only there to just define the roles and responsibilities of every employee within the organization, from the top to down, what is expected of everyone, where we have management at the top, middle management, and we have the technical staff also down, everybody doing and performing their duties and their functions, because there is a lay down structure to guide and direct everybody as to what they should do. So move on, sir. These are some of the few, or let me say the major structures that we have in the system. Yes, with time, a lot of structures have been developed, but then we still have these four main structures: that the functional structure, the divisional structure, the flat-hierarchy structure, then the metric structure. These are the four main structures that we have, which organizations use. But let me also mention that depending on what the organization does, the organization decides as to the type of structure or the organizational structure that they will use. The type of organizational structure used depends on the type of business that the organization is carrying out, or the decision that is taken by management as to the type of structure that will help the operation of the organization. Let's move on, sir. So let's quickly look at some benefits of the organizational structure. We've talked about the need for the organizational structure. Let's quickly go through some of the benefits. I think I mentioned that it helps in faster decision making in an organization, and it improves operating efficiency and better department. Let me also say that it also helps to bring the siloed departments together. Here, what I'm talking about is the fact that, especially if you have a very big organization, you notice that because most of the departments are scattered, it's very difficult to bring the organization together because people are at different locations and doing different things. But once you have the organizational structure, you are able to manage and to bring almost all the decentralized departments together to be able to take good decisions for the organization. Please, let's move on. Let's move on, sir. Yes, let's move on. Yes, so we are looking at establishing roles and responsibilities of the finance team. Move on, sir. Move. Yes. Yes, thank you. So every accountant or every finance member will tell you that the basics of every accounting is bookkeeping or record keeping. People have developed a lot of software that will be able to just key in your data and it generates all the necessary reports, the financial report, generates every document that you have with regards to your final account. But then the basics of the bookkeeping is what needs to be done. Whether you are using a software or whatever you are using, you still need the basic data to be able to come out with your final financial report. So that is what we are talking about as bookkeeping. The fact that you pick your receipts, you pick your invoices, you pick the sales and all the other documents, and you enter these data into your system to be able to generate your report. That is what we are referring to as bookkeeping or record keeping. Then one of the major things that they do, it's also mentioned earlier, is management of the company's cash flow. I've mentioned that you cannot manage the cash when you have not brought in the cash. So let me also emphasize that another way is also to help the acquisition or bringing on board the funds. And once the funds come on board, then finance team, as they have helped to bring the funds, they've also helped to manage the funds as the organization grows. Then this has also been mentioned, they help in budgeting and forecasting. I mentioned it earlier that the data that the finance team brings out is what normally is used for the budgeting and forecasting. Let's move on, sir. Yes, so they also advise management on taxes and also management on what to invest. The finance team is able, because most of the people have this analytical knowledge and the analytical abilities, they are able to analyze and advise management as to where to invest and where not to invest. So part of their duty, or part of what they do, is to also advise management when it comes to investment. Move on, sir. Yes, we cannot talk of the function of financial finance team without talking of the financial reporting and financial analysis. So they also assist in making management, helping management to make strategic decisions. All these are based on the information that the finance team is able to come out with, the report that they are able to come out with, the analysis that the finance team is able to come out with, and they present it at management meetings and say that this is what we have seen, this is what is going on, and that also help a lot for management to take various decisions. Of course, long-term decision and short-term decisions. It's all based on what the finance team helps them to know. Move on, sir. Yes, we are looking at providing training and development opportunities for the finance team. For any effective finance team, you must also be looking at not just putting the team together, but periodical training, periodical development opportunities for the finance team to always stay on top, to be abreast with time. So carry out regular training for the team members so that at every point the team members will be on top of their work. Let's go on, sir. Please move on. Yes, so part of what we can do to help the finance team members to be on top is to arrange for job rotation. What I mean to say is that one person should not be staying on his schedule for so long. At least every year, people should be moved from one schedule to the other, so that you notice that members of the finance team are people who are all around. Wherever you put them within the finance department, they are able to perform because they have fair idea or very good idea and knowledge of what is happening at other sections within their unit. And that's why we encourage that the team members will not be always limited to one task or one duty or one session. They should be rotated from time to time for them to also learn. Yeah. Then they should also be given the opportunity to also have what we call the cross-departmental teams. My people here, from time to time, my team, you see them with the procurement unit. Sometimes you see them with the planning unit. Sometimes you see them with the revenue, even though the revenue section falls under us directly, but you see my people there. Sometimes they go to the field to also see what is happening on the field. So once you're able to do that, you see that the team members are on top. They are very versatile wherever you put them. When they are, you the leader, you are not there, and any question is asked, your team members will be able to answer because they know almost every part of the organization, what is happening in the various organizations. And that's what we are talking about, that the finance team members should be versatile, so that they are equipped to be able to help the organization move forward. Yes, sir. Please, because of our time, we will have to quickly jump through. Then because we are also going through CPD today, another way to equip your staff, the finance team members, to be very, very effective and efficient is to encourage intermittent CPD programs like we are doing now. So we are not far from right. What we are doing now is also to equip us to be able to please forgive me, to be able to stay on top of our job as finance members. Yes, sir. Please move on. Then encouraging teamwork and collaboration. We've talked about collaboration, so let me quickly just talk about teamwork. For an effective finance team, we must always encourage teamwork. Individual, for instance, if you are in a football and you get players who are always so selfish, when they get the ball, they are not passing, they always want to stick to the ball, they don't want to look at other players, definitely the team will not go anywhere. So for an effective finance team, you see that members are always together. They think together, they reason together, they resolve issues together, they solve problems together. And that's why we are saying that we should encourage teamwork. Where you see that somebody is not happy or somebody is having a challenge, if you are a leader, you quickly bring the people together and always everybody at each one's back, trying to cover up and trying to encourage all of us to move forward. And this is what I do in my organization. Everybody is part of the team. So we are all moving forward. If anybody is falling short, hey, Charlie, what's happening? Let's move on. Then on we move. And that it makes it very difficult for any person to see even the weakness in the finance department. Please move on, sir. Yeah, please let's move on. Because of time, let's quickly move on. Yes, sir. Yes, so we are talking of managing an effective finance team. That is also another very important. You have built a finance team, you have hired a good people, you have got the personnel, you have managed to take them through all the needed training that they need to go through. But let us look at how we will continue to manage the finance team to be able to stay on top. Next, sir. Yes, so we are looking at setting up goals and expectation for the finance team. The finance team should be able to set up. Every member of the organization should know the goals of the organization. Every member of the team should know the goals of the organization and what is expected of us as a team. And once we know that, achieving the objective becomes very, very easy. But the objective, the setting up the goals and the expectations should be very, very clear. That's why we are saying setting clear goals and objectives. Please move on. Please move on, sir. Yes, please, let's go on. I've explained this. Let's move on, sir. Again, good. Now we are looking at, now, yes, it's okay here. Now, I believe that as finance people and as accounts people, as accountants, as professional accountants, we all appreciate the fact that you cannot just set goals. Your goals must be what everybody knows and termed as SMART. Your goals must be specific, your goals must be measurable, attainable, and realistic. We cannot set goals that become very difficult for us to achieve. And people will be struggling. At the end of the day, when we want to measure, you notice that you couldn't achieve it. Why? Because it was not reliable. Then the goal should be very, very timely. At the end of the day, if you just set the goal without giving a target period, let's see at this period, this is what we intend getting, or this is where we want to get at the end of this period. Once you set the goal, you must also target it, give it time. That's why we are saying it must be timely. You cannot just set the goal in the air and leave it just like that. It must be timely. Next slide, please. Move on, sir. Move on, then to the last one, sir. Good. So let's move on, sir, because of time. Please move on. Please take me to the last topic so that we quickly look at that. Yes. No. Okay. We've talked about how the finance team will be performing, how the finance team will be working, how you can hire the members of the finance team, the training that you have to take them through. But let us also look at how we'll be able to get feedback and performance evaluation. This is another very important aspect of always keeping the finance team on top. The finance team should be able to bring the feedback together. What happened? Why were we not able to achieve our target? What happened in the past? How do we move forward? Going forward, what do we do? So you look at everything that has happened, some sort of going through a revise or reviewing your activities in the past and looking at what we are going to do. Performance evaluation. You evaluate whatever you have gone through and see where you couldn't perform well, you just try as much as possible to improve. Where you did well, you try to move ahead because you don't stay at one place. You move on. So it's very, very important that we look at the feedback and also look at evaluating our performance in the past period, and that will help us to sorry, move on, sir. So let's move on to the last slide so that director, move. Yes, sir, move. Good. Please, addressing conflict and please come up a little. Then I'll, yes, come. Yes, sir. Addressing conflict and challenges. Let me simply say here that it will never happen that an organization will not get conflicts and challenges. You can never eradicate or erase conflicts and challenges, but you can always bring them down. And you can always manage them such that though they are there, but it will still, people will not even be looking at the challenges. They will not even be looking at the conflict, but they will be looking at how we'll be able to work to carry out our activities such that everything that the organization aims at will be able to achieve it. So yes, you cannot erase, you cannot take away conflict, but you can always bring it to the barest minimum so that the organization will be able to achieve its set objectives. So managers and management members should always aim at the best way of managing conflict, such that the organization will not be brought down because of the conflict, but the organization will always stay on top, that despite the conflict, we will still move on, because conflict is part of organizational activities. It happens in every organization, but once you are able to manage it, I can assure you, you always stay on top. Please, let's move on. Finally, let's move on. Let's move. Yes, so let's talk finally of the benefits of an effective finance team. We are all looking at building an effective finance team. So how would the organization benefit? Of course, all what we are saying is that we've mentioned them over and over. Once you have an effective finance team, it will help improve decision-making, especially at management level. And it also helps in efficiency and productivity. While we have a very good finance team, productivity is also increased because they are always looking at how they'll be able to maximize profit in the organization. And once you're able to maximize profits within your organization, of course, you also help in increasing your productivity. So finance team, effective finance team helps to improve efficiency and also increase productivity. Yes, the last slide, sir. The last slide, sir. Yeah, so all what we are saying is that, I think I've mentioned it earlier, that you cannot eradicate conflict. So here we are saying that, yes, errors and risk will always be there. But once you have an effective finance team, you can reduce to the barest minimum the errors within the organization, and you can also reduce risk within the organization. We've already mentioned the financial reporting and the financial analysis by the finance team. And we've also mentioned that the finance team, once you have a good finance team which is on top of their job, it also helps to improve the relationship between all the other stakeholders. So on this note, I want to pause here and get back to you, Director, for maybe some clarification or some questions that may be coming from the floor. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much. I think this is very, I would say, an overview, a deep overview of what is actually supposed to be the case within our immediate teams and our work environment. Actually, a lot of people. One problem I have come to identify is that it's common to find people who are more interested in personal goals. So I want to ask if it's the duty of the leader to ensure that we all come together to work as a team. But in some working environments, you will find leaders who have selected a group of people, leaders who have created teams within teams, and creating a whole lot of issues within a team. So I want to ask you, Doc, if you find yourself in a working environment where within your team there are different types of teams, and you in a way you feel as if you are not making enough impact and your leader is also not saying much about it, how do we go about in such a situation?
Yes, thank you, Director. In fact, I did mention in my presentation, I spoke much on teamwork. And for me, it will be very difficult for any finance team to work well without a teamwork, because you need to move everybody on board. You move all your team members together. I can assure you, if there is that division within the team, when auditors come, sometimes you'll be surprised that some of your team members will even go to the auditors and be telling them where to look for and what to look for. But once you are together and once you are in a team, you always speak the same language. So I will encourage that team leaders must always, yes, there are some people who always want to sort of stray away, let me use the word with a little care. Some people who want to stray away from the set objective or from our goal. But still, you have to be patient with such people, find time and bring them also on board. You don't give up on such people, because once you give up on them, and as a team, one person is left out, you are likely to have problem. Because you can, as part of our work as accountants, we believe in confidentiality. Team, that division, I can assure you, if you don't take care, that confidentiality may be eluding the organization. And before you realize your information is out there, who sent it out there? Because you are not united. There is that division, and that's why we're facing such challenges. So yes, I encourage that we should bring all together.
Yes, there's one last question from me. I will advise participants to rather type in their answers on their Q&A. We are unable to call participants if you raise your hand. Just type in your questions. We have what we call the rhinos in working environments. They are called really here in name only. There are people who are really here, yes, but it's only their name. You don't see any inputs that they are any contribution they are adding to the team. And sometimes, those days when we were in school, we have people who will only ask if the group work is done, or we only have people who are at the photocopy center waiting for you to print and ask you to print too. So people carry it to the working environment, and in a team where you find people who are actually not adding anything. They are really not having any input or impact on the team, but there's always serious workload on the team. How do you actually manage or manage such people? Because I'm asking for some of us who are already team leaders. If we find ourselves in a team environment, in a finance team, who there are people within the team, and they are not adding anything, they are not putting on any weight. Maybe we try with the training. We try. What do you suggest should be how we should handle such people, Doc?
Chris, I was posted to an office where I was told that this particular person is lazy, doesn't want to work, he's always late, blah, 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 blah. But I'm the type who always want to sort of get closer to people. I don't just conclude because I've heard something about you. I want to get closer to see exactly what is in that person, what is creating, what is making the person behave the way he's behaving. But I noticed that, yes, here was somebody who was the extreme introvert. And for that reason, he's been left on his own. Nobody wants to go. And the conclusion was that he was lazy. So I intentionally gave this man a specific task. Every day, come and report what you have done. And I can assure you, later he became one of the best performing staff within my unit. It's just that earlier I realized because he was left on his own, once he's a type who will not talk, he's quiet. So I will encourage that once we have such people, we should draw them closer. We should find out why they are behaving the way they are behaving and tax them. I mean, give them specific tax. And I can assure you, once you are with them and you are also supervising, they will perform.
Yes, yes, thank you. They will perform. I think last one. Look, what about there are people within a team who feel they are being underutilized, but because they are working under the supervision of someone, they are unable to exhibit well. There are also people in a team who feel unaccepted. They feel this is not my rightful place. There are people within a team who feel that I'm not being appreciated enough. How do we work around the team if we find ourselves feeling this way, or if we feel that we could have worked more but we are not being appreciated enough, or our impact is not being felt enough?
Chris, one of the areas that we can actually encourage staff to perform well or to put up their best is appreciation. But it's part of the slides, but because we're rushing, I didn't mention that. It's appreciation. We need to appreciate everybody. Sometimes not with cash or physical resources. Sometimes just a word of praise. Sometimes just encouraging. Somebody needs to be just tapped at the back and say that kudos, you have done well. So it's just a matter of once we are able to appreciate what people have done, no matter the tax that a person, the minimum thing anybody does, let's appreciate. And once we are able to appreciate, people will always be encouraged to put in their best. And talking about people who feel that they are not being used well, they are not doing what is expected of them, or they are being underutilized. That's why I talked about the need for team leaders or the need for leaders to bring, if we are in a team, we are all working together. Yes, we have our schedule. My former boss will tell you that, look, one person's end product is somebody's input. So, yes. So once you finish your job, another person is continuing. So once we have that system of operation, it will be very difficult for anybody to be idle. So yes, we must always be looking out to see who is idling and why is the person idling. Why is the person not doing what is expected of the person? Once we are able to do this and find out, we'll be able to bring everybody on board. It's true that some organizations will go and people feel that they are not being given what they have to. They are performing far lesser than what they can do. But once there is work to be done, bring everybody on board, and I can assure you, you will get the needed results.
Thank you very much, Doc. I think that ends it. Thank you so much for sharing this insightful presentation with us. Let me also thank all members, and please, thank you for understanding the initial technical hitches we had. Dr. Redu is available. If you have any issues with your team, you can always contact him. By the grace of God, Dr. Redu has a lot of time now, and he'll be willing to assist you to build your team and build it very well. I've had personal encounter with Dr. Redu, and anyone who comes in contact with him does not live the same. There's always a change. And I pray that if you have any internal issues within your business environment and you need some instant solutions, you can always connect Dr. Redu. Thank you so much, members. Let me uh, state again that the IPA group, the IPA in Australia is celebrating 100 years anniversary, and it's very interesting to be 100 years, and we find it as an achievement worth sharing. Kindly follow us on LinkedIn and share all the celebrations on your pages. And those who want to attend the Congress too, you can have more information on the IPA website. Not me, but I'll be available to provide some details if you find interesting to attend. Thank you for coming. Let me remind all members that we still have 40 CPD hours to achieve. We have not changed that professional standards. Each member is supposed to acquire 40 CPD hours in a year. And I can see that some of us have still not achieved even up to a half. Kindly visit the IFA site, go to the CPD. We have numerous CPD events that are coming for free, and I'll advise all of you to take part. All non-members who are interested to know more about the IFA, we are a professional accountancy body, full members of IFAC, and we operate just like any other professional accountancy body that you know of. And we are always available. Myself, I'm available to guide you on how to appear for our examinations and how to appear for our membership if you find the IFA a place to be. Our expertise or specialty lies within the small and medium enterprises, and that is where we empower our members to look up to. By definition, we all know that small and medium enterprises are enterprises that have a total turnover of 10 billion pounds in a year, and that makes the IFA very big and broad to look at all other different business angles. Come, let's talk. Let's understand what we stand for, and let's join the IFA. That is what the future has for us. Thank you very much, members and non-members, for joining us. Thank you, all members who joined from outside Ghana. We are very happy to have had you join our session this time, and thank all members. We will close the session now, but Dr. Redu, thank you so much. We planned this thing
Thank you.
months ago, and this is the time we have been able to have this. All members who want to speak on any of our CPD events should kindly contact me. We have our CPD plan for the year, but if you are interested in speaking on any of the topics which we have already shared, or if you have an interesting topic you want to speak to us about, kindly send me a message, christiano@ifa.org.uk. You can also call me or send me a WhatsApp on 0201924593. Thank you so much for coming, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Safe journey when you're going back home. Doc, we will meet.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you for bringing me on board. Thank you, all members. Thank you, all participants. I'm always available. Contact Chris, and if we have to talk together, surely I'll be with you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.